Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Eric with American Business Systems. Welcome to our webinar this afternoon. Appreciate you joining us and taking some time out to explore the American Business Systems medical billing business opportunity. Appreciate everybody that's on here early. Got a good start of folks. The people are still calling and climbing on in here, so that's pretty cool. It's a good start. We're going to be talking about how much money you can make today, so this might have some interest to you as we kind of go through it today. We're going to wait just a tad because there's always a few stragglers that always like to come in here, and I don't want to get in too deep into everything before we get started here. But if you are here already, and if you wouldn't mind just throwing up in the Q&A box there, just showing me where you're calling in from, I would certainly appreciate it. That would be a big help for me. All you got to do is find this Q&A box right here and just type in your city and your state, and that's all you need. And I'll see that, like Chad's from Louisville, Kentucky. It's good to see you, sir. Appreciate you joining us this afternoon. Also, for those that are going to be asking questions today, I will certainly ask you to help me out to make sure that I'm answering your questions. There is a little heart or a thumbs up or hand claps or something like that. Yep, there goes a hand clap there. That can let me know that I'm answering your questions properly. All right, Labrina, you're from Keller, and there's another person here from Keller. So two folks around here from the Keller area. I'm over in for those that are in Texas, you might know where Lake Worth is. I'm kind of in that area over there. So we're all up here in the North Fort Worth, Texas area. All right, it's good to see everybody. We're going to get started here in about one more minute. I've got a few more folks that are just trying to get in here. And again, I want to make sure that we're all here this afternoon. There are a few folks on here who haven't put in where your city and state is. So pop that in there. If Kaney, maybe you can share me where you're from. Mohammed, Winifred. So if you can let me know there, some other folks that are on there. This is all good. We're all just a big group of, hey, we are professional people that love to build businesses and think about entrepreneurship or whatever we are. So it's always good to have you here on here. Winifred's from New Jersey. Thank you. Appreciate that. We haven't gotten anybody in here from California yet. We could usually get one or two people from the West Coast. Maybe they're running just a tad late. I know it's a little early for them over there. It's still 2 o'clock in the afternoon. For those on the East Coast, it's already 5. And here in the central part of it, oh, there's EJ, California. We've got it covered coast to coast. Winifred is in New Jersey, and EJ is from California. So there you go. That always makes me happy. I always like to see that we kind of cover everything from the Midwest and to the East Coast to West Coast. So Winnie is fine. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. I'll just remember to do that throughout the presentation today. All right, folks. So we're going to kind of just do a little navigation today on what kind of revenue you can make here in medical billing. Feel free to just ask me questions throughout the presentation. You already know where the Q&A box is. I've already shown that to you. For those that haven't piped in here yet and you're looking to where is that Q&A box that Eric's talking about there? You'll find it. There's a little thing there. It looks like a Q and A, and you just click on that icon and you can type in there. That's how we'll communicate with you, with each other today. So Winifred, I laughed right out loud with you as well. So good to meet you. You sound like a fun person. My name is Eric Auger. I'm the Director of Learning and Engagement here. So what that means is I'm here to help you learn about who we are on a different level. I know that you've been talking with a sales rep, and those guys have some incredible amounts of information that they can give you. And I'm here to kind of give you topical information. We really do handle just about everything from how to get your first client to today, how much money can you make in medical billing, to kind of the layout. We always talk about often about, what are the secrets and kind of getting started here. Sometimes we just flat out talk about what does it mean to get started in any type of business. But we kind of do so many different types of things. And then we kind of, sometimes I even dive into what you're going to learn during the training. So those are always kind of rotated in and out. But I think we just did those not too long ago. But the other thing that we do is where we do interviews with other folks that are ABS business owners. And we did a couple of those here over the last couple of months. So you want to go back and watch those. Mohammed's from Burlington, Kentucky. So good to have you here. Appreciate you piping in there as well. Some of you may actually be talking to Adam Phillips. Adam is our CEO of American Business Systems. He's been at the helm for this for a little over 5 years now. This is, if you haven't heard their story, Patrick Phillips and Linda Phillips was his parents, and they're the ones that started the business well over 30 years ago. Matter of fact, his mom, Linda, started doing medical billing over 35 years ago. And that's right, folks. That was whenever people had typewriters instead of computers. And here we are 35 years later having webinars and everything else that's going on here. So let me see if I can get rid of this. I got all kind of notifications coming in. So Caney is from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and S. Thomas, can we split payments this way? Was my key question. We have an offshore delivery system center. Yeah, Thomas, I don't know if you go by S. Thomas, or I don't know if Thomas is your last name, but if you'll kind of rephrase your question, I want to make sure I understand it. So just maybe re-ask your question. I'll see what I can do to help answer that question. Let me go through this introduction, then I'll really start diving into the questions here. But Adam is, like I said, he's the CEO of American Business Systems. He has kind of fallen in the footsteps of his dad, where dad was a prolific writer, wrote a ton of articles. Patrick also wrote several different books and authored several different books, and then Adam's kind of picked that up. He also co-wrote a book with Dr. Vicki Rachner, who is a retired general surgeon. Some of you may have heard her testimony or her interview with me. If you haven't, you can go back in our YouTube channel. You can go look that up and go see that. But what an incredible story she has. But she's also kind of helps us and does a lot of consulting for us here. But Adam is writing for a magazine. He's posted several articles. Got some more coming up here soon, but a couple of them I'm going to highlight for you. One he wrote back, last year, The Shrinking Private Practice and Why Billing Expertise Can Be a Lifeline. And then back in 2024, he wrote one on the advancement of AI and how that's going to impact medical billing and coding. And folks, we are staying on the forefront of that. We're not shying away from that at all. If you've got questions about it today, you can certainly ask me some questions, but we're going to try to keep it on topic as best we can, because we're here to talk about the kind of the finances that you can pull out of here. But if you got any questions about that, I can certainly help you answer that. And we also have done some webinars specifically on that, so you can kind of go look that up. Adam is also the founder of an organization called MIRMA. MIRMA is an organization that you actually join upon joining us here at American Business Systems. And it is this organization that will actually do your certification. So once you've completed all of your online live training with your live instructor here through American Business Systems, then MIRMA gets that information, and they're the ones that certify you. So it's separate from American Business Systems. So you get to carry the MIRMA logo. You can certainly utilize that as all your certifications and credentials that you're a part of. So when doctors are asking for you, hey, where did you get your education? You're not saying, hey, I got it from a group called American Business Systems. You're actually getting certified from an organization, the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. So there you go. And obviously, when you join us here at American Business Systems, we are the nation's largest independent group of medical billers in the country. So, all right. So I'm going to click on this here because there's questions already coming in. And you know what? I love it. I love it that people are just saying, hey, I see your topic, but you know what? I've got a question and I want to make sure we get that taken care of. You have an initial payment for $30,000. I was asking, hence the question. Okay. Yeah. So S. Thomas, if you will, there is some ways to split those payments up. So if you will get back with your sales rep, they will get you the information on how that's done. So there are ways to split up your payments there. So, all right. You're welcome. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback there. All right. So obviously, anytime you see this slide come up, if you got questions, feel free to pipe those in there. If I'm going through a topic right now and it's a little off, I mean, obviously I haven't started anything. Yes, that's why I wanted to deal with the questions that were coming up already. But if I'm in the middle of a topic, I may say, hey, I see your question. I'm going to come back and answer it. I may even wait till the end. So y'all bear with me on that. One of the things I want to point out to you is, before we get started, is that you can always, again, go to our our website and peruse that. So hopefully you know where that is. There's really a ton of information on abssystems.com. So if you'll just go out there, absystems.com, and we've got a ton of, and matter of fact, there's a little, if you see up in the right-hand corner, it says download our 5 secrets to success. What's important about that is that there are some white papers in that document. So you might want to grab that. So again, if you want to take a quick screenshot so that you won't forget about that, you can do that, and you can do that real quickly afterwards. All right, so let's talk about revenue. What kind of revenue can be made here? And this is always important. Let me kind of tell you what I'm going to talk with you about a little bit today. I'm going to kind of talk to you about the advantages of the medical billing business opportunity. We're going to talk about your ROI. What does that mean and what does that look like? Then I'm going to start breaking it down. We're going to actually do some calculations with our income calculator so you can kind of see about that. We can maybe even play with some numbers. If we need to go live, I can go out there and swap out that. And then we're going to kind of wrap it up with a little bit of kind of what you're getting here at American Business Systems in order for you to even make that kind of revenue. So first of all, again, we're going to be talking today more specifically about revenue. What kind of revenue can you make? How many doctors will you need to replace your income? So those are some of the questions that we're going to be looking at. But first of all, I want to share with you some of the advantage of having a medical billing as a business opportunity. I think this is always important because I know that you may be looking at other different sources for business opportunities. Maybe you're even looking for some franchise opportunities. But let me tell you real quickly that we have decided many years ago, we went with the business opportunity model, and there's a lot of advantages that happen that way. So first of all, the difference between a business opportunity and the franchises is that with a franchise, you're probably going to have a franchise fees or some royalty fees that go along with that. And there may even be charted out territories that you can only market in. Well, the advantage of having a business opportunity through American Business Systems, first of all, there are no franchise fees. There is no royalty fees. So when you pay the one-time fee, according to what has already been mentioned there, it is $35,000. It's a one-time investment. There is, like I said, no franchise fees, no royalties. That's your investment. And I'm going to talk with you a little bit, hopefully how you can see you can get that return on investment really within your first year. So we're going to talk a little bit real quickly about, no, excuse me. I bet you I can count on my hands, my fingers, the time I've sneezed in a webinar. So I certainly apologize for that happening there. So we're going to talk about, thank you. I appreciate it. Somebody just gave me a thumbs up there. Let's talk about these 5 advantages because outside of the advantage of, again, there's no franchise fees or royalty fees. I want to share a couple of these. First of all, in here, there's a scalability to it, which means some of you may want to start this business as a part-time endeavor. We have some people that still work it as a part-time gig. They've got maybe a couple of other businesses that they're working in from home. So you can certainly just keep it small. And what I mean by small is that really one doctor, you will find out today that, gosh, you can probably do everything in about 2 hours if you're dealing with just one doctor. Now, again, the more in-depth that doctor is, the more specialty of that doctor is. It may take a little bit more time, but if you're dealing with just a regular family practitioner, a nurse practitioner, you're working with a licensed social worker, maybe a physical therapist, even a massage therapist. Those folks, I know definitely you can do all of their work within about an hour and a half. So, but the scalability, how far can you take it? So obviously we just did one. How many doctors can you handle? Well, let's deal with that real quickly. If you're thinking that you do not want to have employees, let's kind of talk about how many can you really work. And like I said, the rule of thumb is that one doctor will take you about 2 hours of work per day. Now, that 2 hours is not going to be just a solid, you're going to work from 8 to 10. I'm talking it's going to probably take you 2 hours in the daytime, because when claims come in, or you may file a lot of claims right off the bat, and it might take you 30 minutes to just file the doctor's claims. But there's going to be some managing of those claims as they come in, and there's going to be some accounts receivables, things that you'll do. So there's the other hour and a half, and that might be out throughout the day. So just kind of giving you a real time look at the way that this is going to look like. So if you think about it, if you want to work for yourself and then have a pretty decent income, then I would say anywhere from 3 to 5 doctors could probably be your max, if you are wanting to work for just yourself. Now, at 3, you can make a decision. When you get 3 doctors, you can certainly make a decision to whether, hey, I want to expand. And at that point, you're going to start needing to make some real business decisions. Do I want to bring somebody in here to kind of do my billing for me as I keep growing out my business? And then at that point, then the sky's the limit. And again, at that point, folks, you got to understand that you're just exponentially growing your own wealth, because again, there's not another $35,000 that goes along with every doctor. It's a one-time fee here, and you can bring on as many doctors as you want, and then you can start multiplying yourself pretty quickly. So scalability is certainly there. Keep it as small as you want it. Keep it as independent as you want it, or grow it to where we have some folks here that have anywhere from 10 to 12 people that work for them. Okay, now, they got a pretty big payroll, but they've got a lot of money that they're dealing with. Okay, the other thing is recession proof, folks. We always know that we go through these dips through here. If you paid any attention to the financial world over the last 5 to 6 years, you just know that we've been working ourselves way through a recession. Some businesses are closed. The great thing about it is this is not dependent upon whether I like your restaurant or not. Healthcare will always be here. People are always getting sick. There are always people getting older. I always think about that. If you go back and look at some of the webinars 10 years ago, my hair was black and my beard was black. So yes, I'm approaching very close to Medicare age myself. So listen, I'm going to be taking advantage of it whenever needed. But that just goes to show you, they used to say there's 10,000 Americans turning 65 every day. And that's a lot of people that's going to the doctors. But I think I heard even new stats that it's like 15,000 a day now. So it's growing. So healthcare in general is going to be here a long time. Now, the reason I say healthcare in general, because once you get into the healthcare industry in this one little pocket called revenue cycle management or medical billing, it's going to actually open up some new doors for you for some other opportunities to be involved in some other things in healthcare. I mean, you can actually become a consultant in healthcare, and it starts to really blow your doors open here. The growing demand, again, that kind of goes hand in hand with what I've already said. Recession resistance and then growing demand are kind of always there. So again, unlike I've seen some, even locally here in my area, some new little restaurants that I know that are franchises here, and they're kind of specialty. And I've actually looked at them. I go, gosh, I don't know if that one's going to make it. I don't see any cars in front of it. I couldn't imagine buying that and spending the money and the investment to get it built, and then all of a sudden you just don't have the traffic. There's not just a great demand for it. Now, here in healthcare, there is a great demand for it. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, don't doctors do their own billing? Well, I may address a little bit of that today. I have addressed it last week, the demand for doctors that are needing to outsource their billing. But again, this is a conversation you can have with your sales rep, or you can certainly ask me some questions. This is always recurring revenue. This is the great thing about it. Once you have a doctor, it's not like you have to go find another doctor for next month to get paid. Once you've got a doctor and you start doing their billing, that's residual income for them. And as long as you're meeting and hitting all the numbers that the doctors want you, there's a lot of times that there's some of our business owners here at ABS who still have their doctors after 10 to 15 years. So it's a recurring revenue system. Become good friends with the doctor, and then they start to, and this is really how your business grows. The doctors start to refer to you, and then you have to say, sorry, I can't take any more clients, or give me just a second. I'm about to hire a new group of folks here, and I'd love to take your business. And then lastly, you can truly work from anywhere. You don't have to have brick and mortar, which obviously brings in another cost. Keep things simple. Work from your home. Working from home is not a big deal anymore, especially in our world, especially since COVID. Listen, doctors understand. There's a lot of doctors that I know that are at home today doing telemed visits, just simply because it's a lot easier to work from home. So this is a great opportunity for you to kind of think about as we're going into the revenue side of this. So if you want to, you can take a screenshot of this. I'm okay with it. If you'd like to reach out to your sales rep and get the whole presentation, just go chat with them later on. Let's talk about your return on investment, because again, we know that there's an investment here, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a moment. But a lot of you may be kind of brand new to this whole world of entrepreneurship. Some of you on here are probably very well seasoned, so bear with me as I kind of explain this. But we want to know, what's your ROI? What is your return on investment? If I put in a dollar, how quickly can I get that $1 back, and then I can start making a profit? That's what I'm going to be dealing with here just real quickly. So again, instead of me giving you a definition of it, I've used a group called AirFocus to kind of give the definition. They do a much better job. Return on investment is the key business metrics that measures the profitability of an investment or marketing activities by weighing the size of the upfront cost. So there's that upfront cost against the net profits it precedes. So it's after how much you ever paid. And again, your net profits, not your gross profits, because you got to pay your rents and all that other stuff, like this one franchise that I see out here that has no cars in front of it. You still have to pay the franchise fees to carry that name. And, and after your net profits, that's what you produce. That's where you're making your money. So where are you going to turn on that? So the first question, before really asking, once you've learned the investment, a lot of you already know, and like I said, I'm going to get there, is really how long does it take a business to be profitable? And again, going to outside sources so that it's not coming from American business systems, because we see this on average pretty much kind of falling within this frame, this scope here, because what it does, it allows you to kind of go, okay, this is lining up with maybe what I know. Some of you already know that it's typically for any particular business out there, it normally takes 2 to 3 years to become profitable. I can show you how I think that can be shortcutted really quickly here at American Business Systems. And even so does Jason Ding, who's a CPA. He wrote in their FreshBooks article, he says, on average, a new business takes 2 to 3 years to be profitable. When a company starts to make a profit, depends on how high its startup costs are. So what does it start off? Where does it start? It starts with how much you're investing in it. Imagine that you're investing $100,000. Well, this is a third of that. So you're already on the winning side of it, that you're not having to invest $100,000 up front, and then anything else, franchise fees and royalty fees or whatever you start turning in, and then brick and mortar address or whatever else that you got going on. He goes, according to the Houston Chronicle, the more capital a business needs up front to provide its products and services, and the higher its salaries are, the longer it will take for a company to be profitable. However, listen to what else he says. Very few startup businesses are profitable within their first year. Most take 18 to 24 months to be profitable. Businesses with small startup costs, such as online or home businesses, may be able to turn a profit earlier. So I think most everybody here, we see on average 6 months to a year, that once you kind of get things going here, you should start to see your return on investment. Most everybody, once you get started, you're seeing your ROI within your first year. Doesn't mean that you're getting your first doctor within your first year. It means that you're getting your ROI, your payback within the first year. So let's kind of look at this as a scale. This is a good way for you to kind of see a timeline of what this is going to look like. So your first 6 to 12 months here is your initial profitability. So what does that mean? This is where we see it. Once you've got your doctor, if you've got your doctor within the first 90 days, even your first 6 months, it's going to take you a good 6 months more to get your return on investment back. Okay. So that's why I've got here kind of this window of opportunity between 6 months to 12 months. Your first year, again, is 1 year. I mean, your sustainability, this is what's happening. Your profitability is here. Everything is falling into place. And then 3 years out, you are certainly sustainable profitability wise. So the 1 year, year one, you're just getting stable. Now you're starting to become profitable. Sustainability and profitability all come within 3 years. So again, if you go back to what we were looking at earlier, then, according to Jason, the CPA that we were just looking at, he says, anywhere from 2 to 3 years. Here, you're sustainable at year one, if not year 2 to 3. Okay. All right. We're almost at the bottom of the hour. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot those to me over in the Q&A box, and I will certainly get back with you on that. All right. So here we go. Let's keep going here. If there's no other questions here, I'm going to put the little question box up here. Okay. Audience questions. Any questions so far? Okay, so now we're going to start diving into American Business Systems. What's the investment here? Some of you may know by now that the investment here is $35,000. It's a one-time fee, and as Thomas was asking, can you split that up? There's ways that it can be split up, but this is the initial investment. Like I said, it's a one-time fee, and there's several different ways it can be done. It can be done with cash. It can be done with some retirement money. A lot of people, if you got equity in your home, it can be done through that. You can actually use a couple of zero interest to low interest credit cards to start a business. That's always been a good opportunity to use. Just use your best judgment. These are things that you can talk with your sales rep here. They've got a lot of different opportunities here that you can kind of look at. So your return. So what do you need to cover? Well, you need to recover at least $30,000 to $40,000 your first year. That's what you're looking at. You're trying to go, hey, if I'm turning my money over and I'm starting to get things going, man, I'm going to be happy if my first year I am looking within $30,000 to $40,000 to get my return on investment. So, but what does really success look like? Well, one success will look like this. One doctor can actually produce $35,000 to $65,000. So really, how many doctors do you need to get your return on investment? You just need one. And so hear me out here as we're kind of coming to the bottom of the hour here. Hear me out. A lot of people think that if you a lot of people think about the investment of itself, 35,000. Then they ask, is there any more money that I need to invest in? Well, there may be a little marketing, and when I say marketing, I'm probably talking about maybe 5% of that 35,000 at the most. Maybe just figure that out there. But I'm speaking from experience. I've owned 2 medical billing companies through American Business Systems. I've been here with ABS for over 18 years. A lot over here on the administrative side. I've done a ton of webinars. I've helped coach a lot of our business owners in what they do. I've taught a lot of their the training here that you get here at American Business. So I've done a little bit about everything. So everything that we have here at your disposal to actually get your first client, I've used every single one of them. So this is what you're to a point where I'm just saying, I've been there and I've done that. I've done it twice. But what it's done, it's launched me into other aspects of healthcare that I'm right now, all I'm doing is encouraging and counseling folks that are in medical billing, but I'm still in healthcare. I've been in healthcare now for nearly 20 years. So this is pretty cool. It's been the best career change I've ever made. Okay. Thomas is asking, what is the timeline to make the 35,000 with one doctor? I'm going to show that to you here in just a second. Okay. Which leads me again to, are there any questions besides Thomas? If you've got any questions here, feel free to pipe those in for me and I'll ask those in. So what we're going to do now is look at the calculator potential. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go to there. Now, what I'm showing you here, this is actually on our website. Now, it doesn't pop up looking like this. I've just kind of got an icon looking like this. But if you'll go to absystems.com, and I think I'm going to go there right now, just in case that we want to pop out there. Just give me a second here, and I'm going to open up a different window here. And I'm going to open up AB Systems. Here we go. And let me stop sharing this and let me share directly. Here we go. All right. So this is our actual website here. You can see I'm actually on our web page there. You can go here. You can see where it says explore the investment. Then you can calculate your potential. You can always just click straight to there and it goes straight to here. And you can see that there's a couple of calculators that are right here. You can set right here, maybe your desired income. You can put whatever, and it's going to estimate about using our system, basically how many doctors you need. What I'm going to be using is this second one. How much income can you generate within a medical billing business? Now I'm going to fill in all of this business rate. I'm going to talk about each one of these through here, and then it's going to give us our yearly potential income. So I'm going to reserve this. I'm going to come back to this, but I want to get back to my slide deck here real quickly. So let me do that. All right, so we're back here. At least I've shown you where to go on our website to go get that. Okay. Let's see. What is the timeline to make? Okay, so Thomas, we're going to answer your question there. And Winnie, you're asking off track for a second as we talk about ROI. Does AB System provide tools for locating doctors in hospitals, such as a centralized list that can be utilized for contact or mailings? Winnie, what we have is, what you're going to learn is that we've got a strategy called sales magnets. We're going to show you how to do that. Let me, and it's a great question here, and I never want to dismiss somebody's question because I always know that there's a question and there's a deeper part of the question. And I think I can see where you're asking is obviously how am I going to get my leads for trying to even get a doctor in the first place? Now, last Wednesday, so a week ago from yesterday. Yes, she says yes. That's what I'm asking. A week ago from today, a week ago, last Wednesday, I did an entire webinar on what it means to build your marketing campaign, basically. Okay, so that in order that I don't go over all of that at one time, what I want to do is refer you to that. Because I'm going to show you in there, I went into a pretty deep dive of how we help you. One of the things we don't give you, I'll start there, and I can tell you from just sheer proof that whenever I was given a list of potential doctors, and feel like I'm pretty competent of doing marketing, I found that to be probably the thing that slowed me down the most, because what it did, it gave me a lot of false hope. Because once I had the list, because we were trying to emulate another company that was given list, and we thought, okay, we found out where they were getting their list and everything else, so we tried that. Gosh, this was over 15 years ago. And what we found out is that when we gave the list out, because we were paying for leads and we were doing all this, by the time that I got to that doctor or talked to somebody, they either A, had already found somebody else, B, they had gotten a ton of calls, they didn't want to talk to anybody, or C, the doctor was looking for the lowest bidder. So they were just looking for the ones that goes, will you do it basically for free for me? So we went back to the drawing board and says, you know what? We've tried it. It didn't work. I don't know why that is something out there, but Good point. Yeah, you understand what I'm talking about here. So I like to look at paid leads are almost like dead leads. So what I'd like to show you how to catch live bait. And I showed that in a webinar last Wednesday. So if you'll go take a look at that, hopefully that'll kind of help you. Anyway, all right. So again, there's different ways to find the income calculator. I just showed you how one way. You could scroll all the way down to the bottom of our website and it'll be right there at the bottom. But let's just dive right on in here, okay? Here we are. So this is a screenshot that I've taken. It's going to have all the calculations. If you guys feel like you want to go out there live and put some different numbers in there, I'll certainly do that. So yeah, no big deal. Okay. All right. And so I answered Winnie's question. So I got those. I'm going to just clear these out a little bit. Okay. All right. Marilyn's asking, are we able to offer promo pricing limited time? You could. Yes, you can. And let's talk about that a little. I'm going to leave your question up here, Marilyn. And so we may come back to that. I want to address that a little bit deeper there. All right, let's get back to here. All right, so you can see here that on average, this is the national rates, basically 4 to 8% of what you can do basically to build for a doctor's office. 4 being the lowest, 8 being the highest. Sometimes you can press it out to 9, but I don't think you need to go over 9%. Okay. 4, the only time I would ever use a percentage of 4 would be for this reason. Let's say that I am working with a specialist and every single claim is over $1,000. Okay. Then I may consider to go to 4%. But most reimbursements for a family doctor, a primary care physician, an internal medicine, a nurse practitioner is going to roughly be $100 to $175. So I want, for the time I know that it takes me to get there, I'm probably going to be sitting right about 6 to 7%. Okay. I just know that. I just know what my time is worth. And I know there's claims management I've got to do with that more than just filing the claim. I've got to manage the claim and make sure it gets paid. If it doesn't get paid, if it gets denied, I need to fix it. And why did it get denied, and fix it and get that done. So this would be a percentage, yes, Winnie, per claim. So this would be a percentage per claim. Okay. So typically I like to stay with about 6%. Okay. So we're going to kind of split the difference here. You see, I went between 4 and 8%. So we went right in the smack dab in the middle. The average claim amount is roughly going to be anywhere from $100 to $150. You can see here there's a wide variety of different types of medicine out there. It can be as low as 80. Those are going to be your chiropractors. You go to the doctor and they're going to bill probably $75 to $80 for their services. A physical therapist is going to probably charge about $85 to $100 for their sessions. And so if you think about it, if I'm billing $100 claim, I'm going to get back $6 for me to process that $100 claim. So you can see this. It's pretty easy here. All right, the number average of patients a doctor typically sees in a day. Now, before I even put this number up there, you can see there 20 to 30 is a good rule of thumb. I always like to kind of put 25 because I think that fits. But I'm going to tell you, there are nurse practitioners today, and I can say this because I've got a family member that's a nurse practitioner that needs to see anywhere from 40 to 50 patients a day. Okay. Yeah, and it's at an urgent care, so they're seeing a lot of people. They're trying to get a lot of patients in and through out there. So you can see that 25 is not blowing smoke, to anybody. All right, with just this calculation here, let's look at what your yearly income could be: $39,000. Okay, so that's not bad. There's your return on investment with a profit. Okay, so this is sample 1 at billing at 6%. Okay, now I'm going to show you moving the needle just a tad at 7%, and we're going to bump it up a little bit on the amount claim received. Now I'm talking more along the lines of a primary care physician, internal medicine doctors This is what they're doing. So this is where I was whenever I was doing my billing, 7%. The average billing claim amount was 150. Still, we're going to keep it right at $25. But you can see just adding a percentage and going after a doctor that might be reimbursed just a tad more, $68,250. So you've got this range from $39,000 to nearly $70,000 with just one doctor, with the minimum at least one doctor getting you your return on investment. Anything over that, you're in the gravy, so to say. Okay. So, kind of going back to Marilyn's question here, are we able to provide a promo pricing? You could possibly do some type of promo pricing, and this is how I would do it. I would ask the doctor, look, for an initial time, maybe for 3 to 4 months, and again, I would really work with our support team if you were going to do this, to be very creative. But you can always put certain amounts at risk. Okay. And what I mean by that, you write an at-risk type of contract. So you may say, doctor, I would, I want to gain your business, obviously. But if I'm doing this, then over a period of time, then we're going to bump it up back to where I need to be. Okay. I'm giving an introductory promo type pricing that will last for this. And if I'm hitting these numbers and I'm proven that I'm hitting these numbers for you, then I want to be back at this number. Okay. So that would be one way. If I would say, not only, doctor, am I hitting those numbers, but I'm exceeding those numbers, I may even go up another 0.5% on top of that. So Marilyn, does that make sense? So in this case, I may come in with an introductory rate at maybe 5.5% because I know that I want to be at least at 6. But if I'm extending that out, if you said yes, thanks, so you're getting it. So you may say, after 90 days or maybe even 6 months, I want to sit down with you. If it's okay, let's evaluate it. If I'm just hitting the numbers, then let me get back to where I'm supposed to be at 6%. But if I'm blowing through the numbers and I'm really exceeding, I really want to be at 6.5 to 7. If they agree at that, then you can certainly do that. Okay. She said, yes, thank you. That helped answer her question. Good. Winnie says, per claim, we got that one, and we answered that one there. So, Thomas, I've still left your question up here because you're asking about a timeline. Okay. So I want to kind of look at that there, timeline to, obviously you can see that within about a year, depending upon, what kind of doctor that you're doing some billing for, then it's going to be anywhere from 6 months to a year on your return on investment. Again, if you're keeping all of your overhead low, most people already have an internet service. They already got their cell service. So you kind of got those costs baked into your own personal life anyway. So sometimes I look about starting a type of business like this. You've already got a lot of your business stuff baked into what you're doing anyway. So you're not having a lot of overhead. But the great thing about it is that now that you're in business, those can be write-offs and you're not going to have to get taxed on that money. So, but again, I put that as a disclaimer. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an attorney, certainly not a tax attorney. So make sure that you do that. Yes, Chad, I would recommend creating an LLC. Absolutely. Winnie's asking, by claims, did this mean submission, actual payment, and then the follow-ups? Yes, that's the whole process. That's what revenue cycle management is all about. It's the cycle of an entire claim from the time that you submit it to the time that you start to do any of your follow-ups to the actual payment. That's all part of the revenue cycle part of it. Good questions that are coming in this afternoon. I love it. Perfect. Risk identified. Good. Excellent. You're a smart lady. Love it. All right, let's look at the math behind the calculations. Obviously I threw that up there. And again, you can go out there and go play with the calculator yourself. You may not want to be, split the difference. Go, I think I said 6 on one sample, 7 on another sample. You may want to go 6.5 instead of $150 reimbursement. Maybe it's 100, maybe it's 125. Just go out there and you can play with it. But at least you can kind of see. I would suspect that if you get this is another thing I want to say. A primary care physician is going to see more than 25 patients a day. That's just the lowest number that they're going to see. Typically, they like to see about 20 patients in the morning and 20 patients in the afternoon. That's their typical schedule. They always triple book and overbook. That's why you're sitting in an office, because what they're trying to do is bake into their schedule some people who won't show up. But if you got a day where everybody's showing up, that's what's happening here. So, folks, you got to understand that doctors are going to typically see really in between 30 to 40 patients a day. Okay. So again, we're talking about 25. This is just kind of the lowest amount. That's like 10 to 12 in the morning and 10 to 12 in the afternoon. Okay. So, all right. So if they're seeing 25 patients a day, one doctor seeing 25 patients a day, we're going to say this is at $150 per patient. You're trying to collect 150 times 25. That's 37.50 a day of revenue that doctor's expecting to get. Okay. Winnie, hold your question. I'm going to get through it in just a second. I'm going to get through this calculation here real quickly. All right. So you got 37.50 a day at 7%. This is your average earnings, $262.50 a day. Folks, that's not bad if you think about it with one doctor. Most people don't make $100 a day. So most people don't make $150 a day. But when you're working with one doctor and you're averaging $250 to $260 a day, that's not bad for less than 2 hours of work a day. That's a pretty doggone part-time job. So it leads me back to when we showed you that first screen earlier about scalability. There are some people who say, you know what, I just want one doctor. I don't want to work any more than a couple of hours a day, because I know that $200 to $250 a day is good, solid part-time work for me. Okay. So that's pretty doggone good if you think about it. Okay. Certainly can't make that at Walmart 2 hours. Okay. But it takes time. It takes some skill. And it may even take you, what if it took you 12 months to land your first doctor after you joined American Business Systems? You're still well within the 2 to 3 year that Jason, that CPA with FreshBooks, even said. So I'm trying to set correct expectations for all of you out there to not be freaked out if you don't get a doctor the first month. It's just sometimes people get it within the first 30 to 45 days. Sometimes it takes them a little bit longer. But I'm telling you, this is a lifelong business, and it's a business that's going to be here a long time. Healthcare is not going away. Okay. All right. So let's take your potential earnings. So if you're at $262 a day, okay, at 5 days a week, that's a little over $1,300 a week, over 52 weeks. You're making $68,250 per year per doctor. Okay. Not bad. And just if one doctor says, you know what, Winnie's doing an incredible job, and she ends up with 2 more doctors, this is what your income looks like with one doctor telling 2 other doctors about who you're doing with, and who knows if they're not in the same specialty as that, your potential could well be over $200,000 working about 6 hours a day. Okay, so that's why you said scalability. Scalability is what you want it to be. Do I want one doctor? Kind of have a life. We used to have one guy here who all he wanted to do, he was in his retirement year. He had one doctor he was doing billing for. He was making about $200, $250 a day, and he golfed the rest of the time. It's just amazing. So you scale it however you would like to scale it. All right. Winnie's got a question here. When it comes time for collections or payment plans, do we handle, and does this have a different pricing structure? Okay, if you're working collections, that's a different pricing. So folks, if you understand what she's asking here, she's asking that if there's old money that the doctor hasn't collected, that's a separate business model within our system. Remember, we have iClaim and EMRX. That's your main work that you're doing there for the doctor. Okay. If you've got if the doctor has old money to go after, we've got Quick Collect, we've got some other services. You can ask for more money for that. So absolutely, there is a different price structure for all of that. Claims defined as submitting to in or balance billing after insurances or both. Both. Okay. So both. There's, if there's balance billing that needs to be made, you're making money. The best way to think of it. So Winnie, it sounds like you've got a little bit of background in this whole area already. So any money that you help collect, you can charge for that. Okay. Think of it as an attorney. If you call your attorney and the attorney says, you know what, you can call me on 15-minute increments. Believe me, every 15 minutes you're going ching, 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 ching. It's kind of like that here. If you're helping the doctor collect money, you're helping them get to where they need to be. All right. All right, as we kind of start wrapping up here, we've got about 10 minutes, and I'm going to jump right over into some things that I think you need to be doing here. So how much does an employed medical billing person make? This is a great question, isn't it? We've had this asked to us in the past. I thought I'd throw this in here since you can see what you can make. Because remember, you can make as much as you want to make. All you got to do is now double seeing doctors, okay? According to the AAPC annual salary report, this is from the 2026 model, just got this earlier this year. A person that's a medical biller that's not certified by them, okay? So this means that you didn't go through their education and you didn't get certified just as a medical biller. Now, you can go to AAPC and get some additional education. Most of our ABS licensees, business owners, never do that. You don't have to have a certification. If you're going to work for a doctor, it might be helpful. But remember, you're only billing for one doctor and you're only going to make a salary. Okay. So a non-certified biller is going to roughly make about $55,000 a year. 55721. Okay, so there you go. Which is right basically in line. If I'm doing billing for one doctor, that's about what you're going to make as an entrepreneur. But that's all you're going to make if you go work for one doctor. Okay. So here in American Business Systems, what we're teaching you is not only to be the biller, but the CEO of your company, and you grow that business how you want to. What if you had two doctors that you were doing billing for? Remember, that'd take you about 4 hours. Now, with just that type of baseline salary, you're making $100,000. And that's very easily done here. Very easy. But if you're just an employee of a doctor there, that's all you're going to make. If you're certified through their program, you're going to get about a $10,000 raise. If you got two of their certifications, it's going to bump it up another, what is that? It's not even 10,000. It's another $7,500 there. And then the highest you're going to get with three of their certifications is 81,000. Still working for one doctor. All right. So if working for one doctor and that's what you want to do, there's a route for that. But it takes you, the time it takes you to become a medical biller, typically anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half. Excuse me. The time that it takes you to become a medical billing company through American Business Systems is really less than 30 days. Okay. All righty. So real quickly, if there's any other questions, I'm just going to kind of highlight a couple of these slides just so that you know what you're getting for this investment of $35,000, because we've kind of covered a lot. We've covered, what are the advantages of having a medical billing company? What is the ROI? How am I going to make that money? What kind of what's the potential out there? But what you're getting everything that I'm showing you right here on this next slide. This has everything from your revenue cycle management training to the iClaim, the MRX, the Quick Collect, the Audit Guard, CodeWrite, Virtual Care. Virtual Care is cool. If you haven't talked to your sales rep about virtual care, please talk to them about it. This is the new thing that's happening. It's remote patient monitoring. So you need to really understand that as one of your services. There is no other billing opportunity, medical billing business opportunity out there that's doing virtual care. Okay. Compliancy, if you're having to deal with things with HIPAA, that's there. Choice pay is another collections type of thing that happens. AutoCard is a way to help that doctor manage, getting information out to their patients. Credentials, now means that when doctors are needing their credentialing done, we've got a service for that. And then those that want to venture out to dental billing is almost the next horizon of what medical billing was a long time ago, because it's not having to be done at the office anymore as much as it used to be. Okay. Katie is asking, what is the investment cost to become certified here through American Business Systems? It's the one-time fee of 35,000. It's just that one fee. Plus, here you're getting a website that's already templated. It's designed for you, ready to go. Let me see what else to show you here and not have to go through all of this. And then lastly, if you don't know about this and you want to talk with your sales rep about it, you can ask them about this. But this is a great way of, this is kind of on the back side of how you're getting your clients. But part of the investment that you're getting here, you're being invested into yourself. ABS is invested into you. And what we're doing, we've invested into you in such a way that we've got actually printed books that will be ordered once you join us here at American Business Systems. It's entitled The New Thriving Medical Practice. Patrick Phillips and Vicki Rackner are who actually wrote the book. They co-wrote the book. But since we do this on a print on demand, we're able to put you as the person that wrote the forward to the book. We have a templated forward for you to utilize, or you can rewrite it yourself. But your name, your forward will go in the book. It's about a 275-page book, an actual bound book. You'll get those. Those will be part of your marketing plan here. And again, so you can ask your sales rep a little bit more about that if you'd like. But again, there's a little bit better close up to it. You can see that it's forward by Susan Smith. Obviously, that's just a made up name. But that would be like, Kathy Gibbs. She's on here today. So that would be CMRM, Kathy Gibbs. So that would be what that looks like. All righty. We're almost at the end here, and I'm going to do a little bit of a wrap up here. Katie's asking, and through other conventional ways. I, I deleted or I moved your question to the end. Remind me what was your questions, and I'll help match it up there. All right, folks. While Katie's putting the investment cost, and through other conventional ways, your investment cost. Are there other conventional ways to make the, are you asking how you make the payment? You can go ahead and type that in there. I'm waiting for you. Because I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you where to get from your sales rep. Oh, to be certified. Okay. Yes. Are there other conventional ways to get to be certified? Yeah. If you want to be certified, thank you. I appreciate. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I finally got what she's asking here. Okay. So Kenny's asking, all right. So here, if you want other certifications like AAPC, you can certainly do that. There are some folks that have gone out there and done some other certifications that because they wanted to go deeper. We have an initial training that you're going to go through, and I'm going to give you my guarantee. You really won't need any other certification outside of being a CMRM. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that you can't go get others. You can certainly go get other. If you want to become a certified professional coder, you can go do that. Become a CPC if you'd like to, or if you already are a CPC, you can certainly add that to your credentials. But we actually have an advanced training through MIRMA that you can get another certification on at no additional cost. Okay, so Katie, thanks for hanging in there with me and keeping me track, stay straight on your stuff there. So we got it. I think we got it taken care of.